Hi again, everybody. Librarian Barron Angell here with yet another board game demo from our Library of Things. Today is a brand new game that we actually just got, and that is Cards Against Humanity Family Edition. You've probably heard of the original Cards Against Humanity in either physical card form or the online version, and it's a lot of fun, and it's basically the idea of trying to make your friends laugh is pretty much the goal of the game. Obviously, the adult version, very, very raunchy and not appropriate, which is why they, in consultation with actual child psychologists and development specialists, developed a family edition that accomplishes the same thing, but with more appropriate content for a general family audience. That being said, this is still being recommended for ages 8 and up, so you don't want to play it with real little kids, but if you're dealing with older kids, middle school, high school, you're probably okay. Recommend that you have at least 4 players, but you can have up to 20, and the game should take between a half an hour and 90 minutes, depending on how many players you have. It's a very, very straightforward game, and it's really, as I said, all about making your friends laugh. So, you start off with the first person as the cards are, which, according to the direction, is the person who most recently pooped. And basically, the cards are, we'll start off with the black cards, and they will draw one black card from the deck and place it on the table. For example, it says, I'm not like the other children. Toys bore me, and I don't care for sweets. I prefer blank. Now, the goal of each player around the table is to fill in that blank with a white card from their hand.
Oh.
For example, if I pull out some white cards here and shuffle these up a little bit. And let's say, for example, I fill out some white cards real quick. So, you can look at the cards in your hand, and the idea is that once the cards has played the black card, what they need to do is wait for each of the other players to choose any white card from their hand as their response to the prompt. Generally, you want to pick the one that's either the funniest or the one that's the most ridiculous, depending on what you have in your hand. Once each player around the table has chosen a card, they place it face down and give it to the card czar. Once the card czar has all of the selected cards, they shuffle them all up in their hand and then read them all off one at a time to the table. Once all the white cards have been read off in conjunction with the black card, the card czar chooses which one is the winner.
Okay.
So, for example, obviously there's only 2 of us, so it's not quite going to work as well, but we can give it a shot. Let's see. I'll go with that one. So, obviously, there's only 2 of us. We're going to know which is which. But that's why you're supposed to play with at least 4 people, so that there's enough variation. The answer is that you don't know which person submitted which card once the czar has shuffled them up a little bit. That way, when they're being read out loud, part of the fun is not only how ridiculous the answers are, but also figuring out, wait, who played that card? So, what the czar will do once they have selected their cards is they will read the black card with the white card. So, for example, I'm not like the other children. Toys bore me, and I don't care for sweets. I prefer locking mother in the pantry. Or, I prefer lighting stuff on fire. Go ahead. So, that's the kind of funny responses you will get, and based on the number of responses you receive, the czar will pick whichever one they believe to be the funniest. They can certainly, solicit opinions from the other players, but there's no obligation. The czar gets to just pick whichever one they like the best. And whoever's card is chosen, they will reveal themselves once the card is chosen. They get to keep the black card, and they can put it aside. And that effectively counts as earning 1 point in the game. And the first player to get themselves a total of usually about 10 cards, but you could really set whatever limit you like, depending on how long you want the game to go. But usually 10 cards is the average, and whoever has 10 black cards first, or less if you want to shorten the game, which may be advisable if you have a lot of players. Maybe you want to make it 5 black cards. But whoever reaches the correct number of black cards first is the winner. And the good news about that is you can keep that game pretty much going forever because, it's however limit you want to be. And if you don't want to limit, you just want to keep seeing how far you can go, you can do that too. Now, there are a lot of cards in this game, as you can see. There are, I don't know if I mentioned specifically how many cards are of each kind here, but the majority of these are white cards. here, really, that's about how many of the black card prompts there are, whereas this is how many white card responses there are, because if you have a lot of players, they're all going to need cards in their hand. Also, every time that you play a card and it's disposed of, you get to draw another card to replace white card to replace it in your hand, so that you maintain a full hand of cards for the next round. So you can always pick up another card for the next round once you have played one. And that's the game. It's very straightforward. Once you have, once you've played a round or two, it's going to be pretty straightforward, and it's really just a matter of how long you want to go, how many black cards you want to set as the victory goal. Otherwise, you're pretty much good to go. It is worth keeping in mind, again, this is the family edition specifically. If you're out looking for it and you see the regular edition, do not ever attempt to play that with family, because the content is very adult in nature, so do avoid that if you can, if that's not what you're specifically looking for. We also want to take a moment to thank the people at Cards Against Humanity who actually donated this to us for free. They've been donating this to a lot of public libraries, and we really appreciate that. So thank you, Cards Against Humanity, for sending this to us. And if you'd like to check this out, you can come get it from our Library of Things, much like all of the other games that we have available. Again, it's very straightforward. Once you've done it a round or two, like I said, this is the entire instructions. It's very, very simple. So once you pick it up and look through some of the cards, you'll have a good time. Like I said, some of them are, some cards are a little more ridiculous than others. It is often advisable, if you are playing this with a family and you are a parent or have a parent who is perhaps more sensitive to certain topics than others, it may be advisable to just have your parent flip through these cards real quick and just take out any cards that they, might find inappropriate for the game, because chances are they're going to find a good number that are still okay that you can play with, and that way you can still play it and avoid anything that parents don't want to have involved in the game. So that's often a good piece of advice to make it even more family-friendly, if that's a concern, purely based on the original version of the game's reputation. Put these in here. And that's Cards Against Humanity Family Edition. Come and check it out at our Library of Things, and stay tuned for more great board game demos. Next week we'll be talking about Labyrinth. And also stay tuned, because we have great demos coming up of our Little Bits coding kits, one of which should be posted as of today, so go check that out. And it went up this past weekend, and also more coming up in the coming Saturdays, as well as more game demos coming up on Mondays. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.